Hello? All right. Good morning, everyone. We're going to get this thing going. If you can all take your seats. This might be the most crowded thing I've been at since 2020, which is terrific. All right. There's a couple seats over here. It's going to start directing people. Yeah. All right, good morning. It is wonderful to be here this morning in Somerset today for an exciting announcement on our offshore wind industry. Today is a celebration of hitting another important milestone in this clean energy and climate change journey. And we've got many of these days ahead as we build out our clean energy economy, as we reach 15 to 25 gigawatts of offshore wind by 2050, as we work to achieve these nation-leading climate change goals we have. And I think even though we have many more of these days ahead and a lot of work to do, it's really important to pause here today and to celebrate this milestone because it's been a long time coming. And the scale of the people in this room and the role all of you have played in getting to today can't be understated. There's so many people here who saw this industry before it even existed, not just as a climate change and clean energy solution, but as a way to reinvigorate coastal communities, to breathe life into our maritime industry, and to create good jobs all across the Commonwealth. It is really exciting to be at the site of what was a former coal plant and to think about what this site can turn into as we move into this clean energy economy. So I want to introduce a real champion of the offshore wind and clean energy industry in the Commonwealth, and someone who has both planned the work and worked the plan to get us where we are today, and worked with so many partners who are here in the legislature and the industry and beyond, Governor Charlie Baker.
So first of all, I just want to say thanks to everybody who's been part of this. This whole process has very much been a team sport. And for those of us who have participated in these activities over the course of the past 7 years, getting to this point is an especially important milestone, and I agree completely with the Secretary on that one. I do want to say to Prysmian and to Avangrid how much we appreciate your role in all of this, and your fortitude and your patience and your determination and your perseverance and your discipline. And your commitment to what is a very significant long-term opportunity to take what was once an energy generator in a different era and take it into the next century and make it an energy generator for the next century as we go forward from here today. It's also nice to see many members of the legislature here. It's good to see Representative Schmidt and Howitt and Representative Haddad and Senator Montigny. Excuse me, Senator Pacheco. Sorry. It's the mask, okay? It's the mask. As well as Representative Roy. The role that so many of you have played in getting us to this point has been profound, important, and significant, and obviously we look forward to continuing to build on the work that's been done so far. I do have to say that I did not know that Prysmian made cables down here, and that makes this opportunity to build cables here for out there a particularly significant and important opportunity. And I think in some ways One of the biggest challenges we will all face as we go forward from here is figuring out how to get the generation to where it needs to go. And I think that will be the next interesting team sport, right? Once people actually start building some of this stuff. And as we all know, right down the street in New Bedford, at the commercial terminal there will be a significant amount of activity going on as well. And I think if we can just make sure that we continue to treat this as a team sport, to continue to understand the roles and responsibilities that we all have as state officials, as local officials, and as industrial participants in this, this can really become a major part of how we build a great infrastructure, a great job-creating enterprise, and a clean energy solution for the 21st century. And the final thing I want to say is I do think in some respects the industry has bought into the opportunities associated with wind. The investments that are being made, the enthusiasm that's being demonstrated, the capital that's being committed. And I think if we continue to play our cards well, we can make a very big investment in the Commonwealth and in this region going forward and support a lot of activity in deep water up and down the Atlantic coast over the course of time. So thank you very much, and I'll turn it back over to the Secretary.
Thank you, Governor. I'd like to now introduce our Lieutenant Governor, Karyn Polito. And Lieutenant Governor Polito has been such a strong advocate for our communities and in this offshore wind and clean energy space, always asking us, what opportunities are we bringing to this community? What opportunities are we bringing to this Commonwealth? How can we make sure this industry is building our cities and towns and all of the academic institutions across the Commonwealth?
So good morning, everyone. It's great to be here. As usual, Secretary Katie ordered up extra wind for this event, and we're thrilled to be here. And I want to just start by thanking the governor for his incredible leadership to expand renewable energy here in our Commonwealth. I want to thank our partners in the legislature, many of whom are here. We worked very hard in collaboration with you to see these opportunities come. I want to thank Congressman Jake Auchincloss for being here. I'm sure you'll be hearing from him in a few moments. And I want to single out a member of your delegation in Chairwoman Representative Haddad. I've known she's the happiest woman in this room, for sure. Being someone who was born and raised here and seeing many things happen in this community, including the construction of the coal plant in 1967. You were a little girl then. And to come into the legislature in 2000, I was in the same class as then Representative Haddad. And I know your commitment to this community and how you put your shoulder behind this effort and held a lot of people to accountability to see this day come. And I want to just acknowledge another important milestone, which was April of 2019. I did watch the video. It was over in a second when the cooling towers were reduced to a rubble. And that video image was really not just symbolic, but illustrative of the end of an era and the beginning of a new one for our Commonwealth, but particularly for Somerset and the South Coast region. So congratulations to Representative Haddad. I wish to thank Prysmian. Thank you for finalizing the deal Tuesday, I believe. So we're glad we're here. And you're no stranger to this community. Just up the street in Dayton, having a cable manufacturing facility and to expand it here today is great news for this community and for this whole project. I also wish to thank the many people involved here, including just making sure that we continue to expand these options. And the message today is twofold from me. First of all, to the residents of the South Coast region, see yourself in offshore wind. For people that don't think they have the skills to be part of this industry, yes, you do. And we have a particular effort working with Mass CEC, working with 6 of our colleges and universities. In particular, I see UMass Dartmouth here in the house, Bristol Community College, setting up specific programs to design the kind of programs and credentials that match industry standards that will put people into pathways to gain the skills that are needed to build, to plan, and to ultimately operate and maintain the offshore wind farms on our shores. So there's a lot of opportunity for the people of this region, and I'm thrilled for you. I also want to engage and call out the businesses of this region, because you are specific to the success of the planning, building, and operations in the future with your supply abilities. And there are many businesses that are now part of a directory, I believe. I think Mass CEC is in the house. Mass CEC set up a directory. There's about 400 local businesses that are making it known what their capabilities are, and we'll continue to expand that and invite and reach out to businesses all throughout the South Coast and all throughout our Commonwealth to see yourselves in offshore wind. There are tremendous opportunities for people, for businesses, and for the South Coast region, and I couldn't be more proud of this opportunity to come forward. So congratulations to all of you. I see Councilor Ferreira also in the house today. Thank you very much for being here. Being someone who spends a lot of time here in Somerset, I know that you are very proud for this day to come as well. Congratulations to everyone.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. I would like to introduce now Hakan Ozmen. I met Hakan back right before Thanksgiving, I think, to talk about this opportunity at Brayton Point. And one of the very first things he said to me was, you know, my companies, they're not totally sure Massachusetts is the right move, but I am very sure. You know, you might be a little bit more expensive. You might have these different issues going on. We're not sure we're going to be able to get a deal here. But I want to be in Massachusetts, and we think this is the right place for this industry. You have the people, you have the academic institutions and vocational training, you have the workforce, and you have gone ahead on this offshore wind voyage in a way that no one else has. I know that the deal is maybe not signed yet. We're going to sign it today, so it's so fingers crossed. But I just want to say, your vision of building a net zero facility at the site of a former coal plant and having no noise, no pollution, and something that is critical to the industry is something that really spoke to us, and I'm so pleased that you continued on with that mission and are here today. Thank
you. Good morning. It's really exciting. It's exciting to be able to speak in front of Governor Baker, Lieutenant Governor Polito, and also the Congressman Jake. Oaken class. I'm sorry if I'm mistaken with the names. I apologize, but also the Representative Patricia Haddad, which I have to say, when we were having trouble with the deal, she gave us motivation and support, and she insisted. And when she insisted, we insisted. I have to say, I thank you very much for that. I really. And Chairman Lorne Lawless and Senator Mark Pacheco. So I have to say, I'm working on this deal internally with our company. As Katie said, it was really very difficult internally to convince to come because all the industries are looking for low cost. And we have about 20 plus plants in the US, but we have a very good experience. I had a very good experience here in Dayton very good people, very skillful people, and they were 30 years, 35 years working in the same plant, and they were insistent and consistent. So I was so happy how they performed. And on the other hand, you have technology, and we are bringing technology. And we are bringing technology that in the US still doesn't exist. This is submarine, high-tech cables. So we are going to create also with this industry another expansion on the laboratories, because we need labs, we need testing, we need R&D, research and development centers. And we have MIT here, we have good schools here, we have good connections here. So I think it is the right place to do it. It is a good experience that we had, but more than this, there is also the opportunity of the wind and the energy transition which is happening in the world, which is also happening in the US. And I'm really excited for that, because I think the biggest advantage of being here in the US is that when something economically makes sense, nothing stays, everything goes. Everyone is investing in it, everyone is happy with it. It has to be economically viable. If it's not economically viable, it doesn't work. So you can force it with incentives, you can force it with whatever. It doesn't work. So we have around 105 plants in the world. We are the cable manufacturing leader in the world in the technological cables. I work like 10 years in the US. I know I have worked in many different sectors in the US on telecommunication with the Verizons and the infrastructure, 4G, 5G. But I think one thing what Governor Baker said was extremely important. This is not the end, because when you do the offshore wind, you have to be able to transfer the energy where it's needed. So the infrastructure is next. I think that's the most important part. And we have, unfortunately, we were in the US the first who invested into the infrastructure. There is an aged infrastructure, so the infrastructure has to be upgraded. But the good part is also that, Europe started with 2 megawatts, 3 megawatt towers. Now we are talking about 15 to 18 megawatt towers. So this is going to shrink the area that is required on the oceans. And this is going to create also higher energy, let me say, production. So I'm really excited, because we have been in a long journey, and the last 2 days I haven't slept, because we did a long negotiation to come to a conclusion, and finally we came. And I'm very excited that we will have here with our neighbors. We are going to explain to our neighbors. We are going to embrace them. We need them. We need also the skillful engineers that we are going to train, and we need about, I think it will be about 250 people that we will need. I'm talking about direct people. This will create also additional jobs in the periphery. And this investment is going to be between, I think, about 250 million, but no investment stays with 250. Raw material prices are going up, everything goes up. I think we will come about 300 million investment at the end. And this is going to be, I think, a significant milestone. We will do an investment that can be easily expanded. The capacity can be tripled. So I don't want to take much of your time. I'm very excited. I can talk hours, but I'm really happy. I thank you very much for all the support you have given, and I really appreciate and to have come to this point. Thank you.
I'm pretty sure the path to our clean energy future is paved with a lot of sleepless nights and war stories. So welcome to the club here in Massachusetts, at least. We need strong clean energy industry partners along the way on this journey, and Avangrid is a company that has shared many of these stories with us and has made significant commitments to transitioning the Commonwealth to its clean energy future, with our most recent project for the Commonwealth Wind Project, our third clean energy procurement, bringing in enough electricity to power 750,000 homes annually. And the governor and I had the opportunity to meet with the chairman of the board of Iberdrola, Avangrid's parent company, Chairman Galan, on Tuesday, I believe. And he made a commitment made it clear that Iberdrola has now invested $10 billion in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And all of us here, we all made that happen, and that's a really big deal. So it is my great pleasure to welcome Avangrid CEO Dennis Arriola.
Thank you very much, Secretary. And I got to tell you, when my chairman talked about the $10 billion, I was a little nervous. I didn't know it was that much, but look, it's great to be here. And you know, when you look at the people that are here, a lot of you I haven't had a chance to meet with, but a lot of you I've seen at the awards and recognition events that we've had, and it's exciting. And it's exciting not just because of what we're going to be doing here. It's exciting because of this industry that Massachusetts really had the courage to get started. And so Governor Baker and Lieutenant Governor and Secretary and everybody else that's been involved in this, as well as you know, Representative Haddad, you know, your story of your commitment to this community and wanting to make sure that it wasn't left out of this new burgeoning industry is really inspirational. Chairman Lawless and Senator Roderick, I know that you're here as well, and that there are a lot of people that have touched this. But Governor, as you were talking about, it takes a team. I was thinking, okay, what kind of team would this be? What kind of sport would this be? And I think with the Olympics, you know, it's not hockey, it's not team skiing, it's probably more like curling. And we don't watch curling very often, other than, you know, every 4 years, or at least I don't. You ready for this? Okay, stay with me here. The stones are heavy, right? And when you start a project like this, there are people that are carrying around these stones, not knowing where they're actually going to go. Then you have somebody that's got to let the stone go, and it's got to set it off in a direction. They have to have a vision. And sometimes it's going in the right direction, and sometimes they end up on their behind in the ice. And then you have these crazy people, the project managers, the developers, the people that are working with the legislature. Those are the sweepers. And you don't know why sometimes they're sweeping frantically and sometimes they're not. Then all of a sudden the stone either comes in nicely and stops where you want, and sometimes it's right in the bullseye. And then another stone comes and knocks them over, and you've got to start all over again. Well, my job in all of this, I'm kind of the coach. The coach comes walking out, not doing anything, criticizing why you didn't leave it in the center, why you didn't do it faster, why you're spending so much money. But at the end of the day, it's really the team that gets the recognition. And I'm very proud to work for Avangrid. I'm proud to be working with people like Bill White and the others that have been at this for so many years, that we're finally going to see the fruits of all the labor. And Hakan, to you and your team, for your perseverance and your dedication. And you know, I was getting updates of what was going on in your negotiations. Thank you, because the 250 jobs that are going to be created here that'll complement what's going on in the construction of Commonwealth Wind and Vineyard Wind, I think are really going to make a difference and continue to put Massachusetts in the limelight that it deserves. Because the courage that you had, again, to really push this at a time when not very many people knew what offshore wind was. It was happening in other parts of the world, but not here in the United States. And I think many of you said, why not here? And why not do it in a grand way? Why not do it in a way not only that we benefit from the clean energy, not only that we benefit from the tax revenue and everything, but why not benefit from the jobs of the industry itself and all of the supporting jobs? And I think that's really what this is all about, of making sure that as we transition to a clean energy economy, that no one's left behind, that people that want to participate can be trained, they can earn a really good living, and they can be proud that they're changing the world. And so from Avangrid's perspective, we're going to be investing over $10 billion in offshore wind and in Massachusetts' clean energy economy, and we're proud to do it. And we look forward to seeing the groundbreaking that's going to take place here. We look forward to the jobs that are going to be created once Commonwealth Wind is finally approved and all the permits. And Governor, we were talking about the other day, we all collectively need to continue to push in Washington to accelerate these approvals so that we can get this stuff started sooner than later. So thank you very much for allowing Avangrid to be a part of this. We look forward to being a part of this community for decades to come. And Hakan, again, to you and your team, congratulations and thank you.
Well, speaking of the important work that has to go on in Washington, our federal delegation has been such a critical partner in ensuring that this clean energy future gets built, that it brings jobs to our Commonwealth, and that places like Somerset and Brayton Point are not forgotten in that mission. And since taking office, Congressman Auchincloss has been a strong partner. I know, working with Representative Haddad, calling me regularly to make sure that we are thinking about Brayton Point and thinking about this district and making that transition effectively. He has also been instrumental in thinking through how we spend American Recovery Act dollars on ports and on those investments, and I know he's worked with our delegation here in the state as well on those issues. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce Congressman Auchincloss.
Thank you, Secretary. It's an honor to be here in Somerset on this historic day with Governor Baker and the Lieutenant Governor and my friends and colleagues in state and local government. Offshore wind has tremendous potential to create good jobs and to be a source of renewable and clean energy. By virtue of the offshore wind potential in the Commonwealth, by virtue of the talent of our population, by virtue of the infrastructure that we have, this before and after picture here has the potential to be just the beginning of a clean energy transformation in Massachusetts that makes us the leader in the fastest growing industry in the United States, which is clean energy, creating more jobs than any other industry in the United States, and those good jobs can be created right here in Massachusetts. What we're seeing today is a testament to partnership. From President Biden, who has been streamlining the regulations and the permitting process that make these projects viable, to Governor Baker's and Lieutenant Governor Polito's far-sighted investment in economic development, to, of course, Representative Pat Haddad's persistence and long-term view of the potential of offshore wind for South Coast, we are seeing partnership in action here. We want our partners in the business community of Avangrid and Prysmian, we want you to be successful. We want you to see a return on your investment that makes you want to continue to invest here in the Commonwealth and continue to create good jobs in the Commonwealth and continue to create clean energy here in the Commonwealth. And we want the town of Somerset to know that business is here to be a partner, and all levels of government, we want to ensure that the town of Somerset is experiencing a higher quality of life and seeing the returns on this thriving new industry for themselves. At my level in Congress, we are meant to be investing in the infrastructure and the workforce development and the R&D that propels forward this industry. Through the American Rescue Plan, we unleashed money that Governor Baker and the State House have been using for workforce development, including for the clean energy sector. Through the bipartisan infrastructure deal passed last fall, we have sent billions of dollars to the Commonwealth that we can use to shore up our electric grid, to invest in high-speed internet and rail and ports, all of which are a rising tide that can lift all boats, including offshore wind. And just last month with the America Competes Act in the House of Representatives, we have unleashed more than $300 billion worth of investments in science, in research, in development, in manufacturing innovation, all of which can make the United States the preeminent global player in science and in clean energy development. And I'm going to continue to be a champion for Massachusetts, for energy innovation going forward, because I know that, one, it's not just the right thing to do by the environment, but two, Massachusetts is primed to dominate this sector, not just here in the United States, but in fact globally. Secretary, I know that you're supposed to introduce Pat Haddad, but I just can't resist. I'm going to take that honor because Pat, is this your first time at Brayton Point, or did you tour around? Since I first announced for Congress years ago, Pat has been not just a partner and a mentor to me, but really you're a role model. You're a role model for what it means for a public servant to fight for their district, to see a vision, sometimes years in the future, and despite the dips and the troughs and the roller coaster, to stay at it, to corral people, to knock heads together, and sometimes that head has been mine, and just to ensure that your constituents' well-being and the long-term economic development of your district is front and center. I really admire it, and it's really something that I'm trying to emulate myself for my service. So, Pat, the floor is yours.
Wow. Well, so in order to contain my emotions, let me introduce my colleagues so I can try to get myself under control. So many people have been there for me, so I want to just recognize my colleagues who are kind enough to come here today. So I will start in the front row, my dear friend, Tony Cabral, who I'll talk about a little more later. New, but still a great partner, and that is Chris Hendricks. My longtime dear friend, Paul Schmid, part of the Fall River delegation. One of my, and he's one of my dearest friends, and he just happens to sit across the aisle, but it is so important, the friendship that he has given me and helped me, and that is my friend Steve Howard. See, it's not going well. New, but also has been a huge champion of clean energy, and that is Jim Hawkins. My friend who is carrying the torch, and I'm going to talk a little bit about him, Chairman Roy. Also new to our world is Adam Scanlon, but a great help. And of course, my partner in the other end of the district, Senator Pacheco. And I want to recognize somebody who took that first vote when people thought we were crazy, and that's our former rep, Jen Benson. So thanks for coming. All right, I'm going to try, but I'm being a girl today. I'm so sorry. So those of you who know me as, I said, you're doing it because I said so, you're surprised. Anyway, Congressman, I can't thank you enough. That was, I was all set until that introduction, and then it made me very emotional. And I want to just tell everybody, he has been from the very beginning. I said to him one day, I made him come down here, but I did buy him a Malasadish, which he had never had before, and I said, you're going to come down and look at Brayton Point, and you're going to see just what we're up against. And from that moment on, he was sold on what should be done down here. So I want to welcome the governor and the lieutenant governor to my district. Secretary Theoharides, thank you for coming. I know you've put in yeoman's work on this. All of my colleagues who are here, to say this has been a long time coming is a massive understatement. But the very first thing I have to do is thank so many people who have been with me from the beginning and on whose shoulders I stand, for they really led the way. Senator Rodericks, who is unable to be with us today due to a family commitment, sends his greetings and very best wishes. He's been by my side through all the machinations that have brought us to today. He's been my rock and my sounding board. He allows me to yell at him all the time. I'd like to thank former Speaker Bob DeLeo for giving me the opportunity to promote this legislation and for giving me a great partner in Rep. Tom Golden, who couldn't be here today, to pass the original legislation. Also, Senator Spilker, who was one of the people who came with us to Denmark and saw what this could be and was very instrumental with Senator Pacheco in the Senate. Present Speaker Ron Mariano has been there from the beginning, traveling to Denmark, becoming a true believer, and supporting offshore wind ever since, even though being in Denmark, he ruined his knee and had to have it replaced. But that didn't deter him, because he continues to champion and evolve offshore wind policy. And he has assigned my good friend, Chairman Roy, to continue with that work. So many people have been there throughout the years. I apologize because much of this is inside baseball for some people. But I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to my colleagues in the Fall River and New Bedford delegations, past and present. A particular thank you has to go to Tony Cabral. He was a believer in wind long before it was fashionable, and sat with me and helped me through many days of writing that legislation. And of course, my friend and co-filer of everything wind in the Senate, Senator Pacheco, a man who for so long felt like he was whistling in the wind, pun intended. And now, of course, everybody realizes that he was on the right track. My sincerest gratitude to the citizens of Somerset, and especially the Brayton Point neighborhood. The last several years have been extremely challenging, and it's my hope that this is the beginning of real change for our community. Back in 2014, it didn't look like offshore wind would ever come to Massachusetts. The original project was much too costly, and it wasn't in a place that was acceptable to anyone. The town of Somerset was in a terrible place. We had just learned that our largest taxpayer was going to leave, and the plant would be closing, and there would be nothing else to go there. So something had to be done. In August and September of 2014, I invited people to come to the Little Somerset Library to talk to me about clean energy and specifically offshore wind. Many people who are here today came. They shared their knowledge and their expertise with me, and really, it was amazing that they came from far and wide, and so now everybody knows the Somerset Library and the fried egg plant at Marraffas. So, armed with three-ring binders, and detailing everything that I had learned, and a piece of legislation, I began my quest. And when people saw me coming with the three-ring, the big binders, I can't do that anymore, the big binders, without, there was no one who didn't say, "Do you expect me to read that?" Of course I did. And I remember meeting for the first time with the brand new secretary, your predecessor of Energy and the Environment, Matt Beaton, and he just had this glazed over look in my eyes, but never once was he deterred. He is, that's why I'm. So many people thought I was crazy. And a lot of people said, "Oh, you're never going to be able to do that." And I kept saying to them in my office, "Do not tell me I can't do it, because I might believe you." But it was we were changing energy policy. We were talking about making an enormous shift in how we procured power for the state of Massachusetts, and I wanted it done in one session. Whew, who did I think I was? But along came August of 2016. And Governor Baker sat there with a huge smile on his face. But I do remember, Governor, that you wanted to make, do I remember that you wanted to make a bet that hydro would be here before wind? He's not laughing. But he knew, and he knew what could be. And so he signed that bill on a beautiful, beautiful August day. And here we now have Massachusetts being the first in the nation to get utility scale wind power. So a huge, because I'll just say that our previous governor didn't want to hear anything about this, so you're all right. So a huge thank you to everyone who made contributions large and small. And I want to throw out a couple of names. I've mentioned them, but I really need to mention them again. So I lost my page. Oh my God. Here it is. So I want to say some names, and you may or may not know them, but they were people who were there from the beginning in various capacities. Jim Smith, Jen Crawford, Matt Morrissey, Jen Menard, Paul Vigent, Matt Beaton, Bill White, Jen Gorky, Christian Scorzoni, Mayor John Mitchell, and Ken Raymond. All people who stood by me and kept pushing me and telling me that I could do it if I really wanted to. So, now looking to the future. The possibilities before us are amazing. I want to welcome the Prysmian group. Thank you for mentioning that what already people know, that I'm not beyond threatening people when I don't get my way. you have such an excellent reputation, and I so look forward to you and your company coming and being another part of my district, because as has been mentioned, they also have a small footprint in the town of Dayton. I want to say thank you to Avangrid. So many developers, and your parent company was one of them that helped me understand how important offshore wind could be to our community. So with us today also are many of our town leaders, and I want to recognize Chairman of the Board, Lon Lawless, and Kathy Souza here. And I want to recognize in the back of the room the people who will now become a big part of what's going to be happening here, and that's our labor unions and the men and women who are so skilled and ready to take up the cause. They're ready with Bridgewater, BCC, Massasoit, all of those schools to train and to make sure that we are here and ready. So I just want to briefly say it's going to be great. I know it's going to be great. You feel it's going to be great. And I hope that, as you said, the neighbors feel like this is going to be something for them, because nothing happens without people and friends. And so many of the people in this room have been the people and my friends. And they have pushed me and buoyed me and told me I was a pushy broad and told me to stop it because I was being fresh. But in the end, it's about everybody working together. So I want to once again thank our administration for all the good work, especially my classmate from, we call ourselves classmates, even though we were freshmen a long, long time ago. And everybody here in this room, you've been some large or small part of what is going to turn out to be an amazing, amazing project. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Representative. I think it is clear to everyone the passion and stick-to-itiveness she has brought to this journey. I would like to now invite Lauren Lawless up, who's the chairman of the Somerset Board of Selectmen and will be a key partner in moving this forward. Is Lauren here? Maybe not. Has it changed? Okay, we're changing information. Oh. Oh, no. Would you? Okay.
Pat, did you put them up to this? Well, we're very happy to have Prysmian here. What I hear about the company, and I have done some research on the company, and we look forward to it. And thank you, Governor Baker. I know you're leaving office soon. I don't know why, but but this is a real good opportunity for the trades. I see some tradesmen back there. I see Jimmy Pimentel. And this is going to be a very, very productive company here, the cable company for the offshore wind. You know, offshore wind does work. If you look at in Denmark, go look at Denmark and see what they do. Most of that is wind and other green energy. So that is the way of the future to get our carbon footprint down. And I look forward to working with that company. And let's get her done. Okay, thank you.
Well, I'm going to close us out. I think what you've heard today is a story that involved a lot of people, a lot of vision, a lot of dreams, a lot of really hard work and sleepless nights, to your point. I think we have a lot more of these stories ahead. I hope they don't all take quite as long. So we need to get a little faster at moving these stories ahead. But to think about what it means to act on climate change and to create a new industry and the jobs it opens up and the community investment it spurs and the idea that we can share this journey with our kids, and inspire them to take steps along this pathway is really meaningful to me. I'd also like to give a shout out to my former boss who's here, Matt Beaton. He's gotten some, but we all stand on the shoulders of the people who have worked this vision before. And we have to sign the. Oh, thank you, Christian. I also have to give a quick shout out to Christian. I've never seen him cry. Representative Haddad made him cry, but he's someone who's been working behind the scenes on this entire industry for a long time, and those tears were probably well deserved. So we're going to move now into the signing, and then we're going to take. I think we want everyone up here for pictures. Yeah. All right.
Come on, Madam Secretary.
I don't think we get to sign it. You're seated.
Time to sign. That's pretty cool. This actually fits really well with my curling story. Moving a stone. Look at that.
You should get one of those for your desk.
Bill, Tiger. Lieutenant Governor, come forward, Bill. Thank you.
Well done, well done. This is cool. Very exciting.
400 megawatts. Well done up there. You pushed it along. Yeah. Actually, Cy Oyton. Cy's out there. They couldn't get in. We didn't think anybody would show. Jay Borkland, Mike Starrett, my team, unbelievable. Really great. One more photo.
Congressman, you wouldn't mind stepping a little bit over to the right?
Come on up here.
On the count of three, right here. 1, 2, 3. All right, do one more. 1, 2, 3. Perfect, thank you.
That would have been in the back.
Dennis, great
Congratulations.
job. Governor, come for a selfie.